Now let's try to find the domain of fog. So we've got split the screen of fog. So remember I said fog is equal to f, what is x in f, we put gx. So when finding the domain, we first start with golf to see if we've got any limitation. So look at gx, which is 2 plus 3x. So you say, is there any value of x that cannot work here? And you can see that any value of x, whether negative or positive, can work here. So then we can go ahead and put and say, okay, since any value of g can go here, any value of x can go here. So we can now put g into f and say 4 2 plus 3x minus 1. Then it's going to be 8 plus 12 minus 1. It's going to be 7 plus 12x. So here we can see that our domain is equal to x is a member of real numbers like that. Or we can simply say x, the domain of this is equal to negative infinity to positive infinity, because any number can put here and it will be defined, we won't have any problem. Now let's try this one. Let's try to find the domain of fog from this one. So the domain of fog, we check from the second one, which is the g, which is g of x, and you say, okay, is there anything that cannot work? And we can see that it's not a fraction, there's no square root, therefore anything can work here. So we can go ahead and put g of x into f of x. It's going to be 1 plus x squared. We can simplify. It's okay, it's okay. 1 plus 1 plus x squared is going to be 2 plus x squared. And we can see that if we put any negative number here, we see that the square is going to cancel it out. Hence anything can fit here, because, well, anything we put positive, it becomes, to still remain positive. We put negative, it will become positive. So our domain is also going to be negative infinity to infinity. Now let's try to find, let's say, golf. Since we're finding fog, let's find golf. So golf is g put f of x, g put f of x. So first we look at the second one, which is f, then you go and look at f of x and say, okay, is there anything that cannot work here? And you see that f of x has a square root, therefore we have to do this. We say, okay, 1 plus x should be greater than or equal to 0, since we don't want any negative numbers under any root. So then you say, okay, we take the 1 across the cosine, over the greater than, it's going to be x is greater than -1, greater than or equal to -1. So you can see that if we put -1 here, it's going to be 0. We put we put 0 here, it's going to be 1. So what we shouldn't have is numbers like -2, which will make our thing undefined, which will take us back to complex numbers. Okay, so what we don't want are complex numbers, we want only real numbers. So we've got this condition, x is greater than or equal to -1. Then we see if this condition will work in G. So then we get G and say, okay, 1 plus x squared. Well, we get f and we get this and put it in under x squared. So it's going to be, get the root, it's going to be root 1 plus x. 1 plus x and the square, this square right here. So this will cancel out with this, which is going to be 1 plus 1 plus x. We've got 2 plus x. So we've got no problem after we simplify. So the only issue we have is x should not be greater than x should be greater than or equal to -1. Other if it's not at the start of this, we could have a number that's going to be undefined. So our domain is going to be x, number of real numbers, such that x is greater than or equal to -1. That's our domain right there.